These two big bets are cloud, right? Cloud for Microsoft is Azure, and the second big bet is AI. So everything in Azure, for example, machine learning. Now Azure is only the infrastructure. This is the infrastructure part of Microsoft, that is Microsoft is betting on, and this is the brain sitting on top of that infrastructure that Microsoft is trying to build. And these two technologies are technologies that Microsoft is saying is what is going to define its future. Similarly, Google is a company where today approximately 90% of the products are powered through machine learning and artificial intelligence. There is no product or project in Google that currently does not use machine learning. Similarly, you don't have to go even very far. You just have to look at a company like Facebook, something that we use on a day-to-day basis, which is one of the pioneers in this machine learning revolution. Now, the best part about machine learning is that when you are using Facebook, our parents, grandparents, and even kids use Facebook, and they are not even aware that Facebook uses machine learning in such a big way. And I want you guys to think for 10 seconds and let me know two ways in which Facebook uses machine learning, right? Take this time to take time out to think about two ways in which you have seen Facebook uses machine learning, and these are the ways that we don't even know. Normal people don't even know that this is machine learning, right? It is happening. They think that Facebook is recommending, but they don't know what is the exact term for that. Yeah. Friend suggestions. Very good. So friend suggestions, ad recommendations, news feed. Most of us don't know that Facebook uses machine learning algorithms based on probability on what it is most likely to show you on your news feed. Facebook also uses machine learning a lot in ad recommendations, and Facebook also uses machine learning a lot in keeping Facebook free of content that violates Facebook's policies, because there are almost 2 billion users on Facebook, and it is not possible for Facebook employees to monitor what is happening on Facebook, right? So through deep learning networks, Facebook is trying to solve some of these problems on a big scale, right? So that is what is essentially some of these top companies are doing in machine learning, and these are the big bets they are making in this space. Essentially, what you have is companies that are that are not only thinking about machine learning or AI as a technology, but who are betting on their future as a whole on some of these technologies, right? So, with that said as a context, now let's look at what is machine learning, because a lot of us have different interpretations of machine learning. I like to keep it very simple, and this is the definition that I love giving, and possibly you would be able to relate to very easily when if somebody asks you what is machine learning. So machine learning is nothing but machine version of human learning. So if you were to replace human learning with machine learning, that just becomes machine learning. What does that mean is that just like the way humans grow over a period of time, when we are born, we don't have intelligence. And as we grow, we become more and more intelligent. And we become more and more intelligent through something called experiences. Similarly, machines learn over a period of time from the experiences, and these experiences is something. Now machines can't think just like the way humans think, but what gives this experience to machine? My question to you guys is that like the way we learn from our parents, from our environment, from all other people, and we become smarter and smarter, we start taking better and better decisions. What is that makes machines intelligent over a period of time? Yeah, absolutely. That is one word, that is data, right? Data is that one thing that makes machines more and more intelligent over a period of time. And that's why whenever a new machine learning algorithm is deployed in production, initially you possibly that machine learning algorithm has an accuracy of, say, let's say 80%. But as it starts collecting more and more data, as it is fed more and more data, the accuracy simply starts jumping from 80 to 82% to 85% to 90% and to even greater percentage levels, right? So those that is machine learning for you. Essentially, machines becoming smarter over a period of time when they are fed more and more data, right? Now, that's the first component of machine learning that you will need to master, and that's one mistake that I see people who are trying to get into machine learning make. What they do is, and I want you to pay very close attention to this if you're looking to transition into machine learning roles, is they keep on focusing on the algorithms. That, Manav, what are the algorithms that we need to learn in machine learning, right? What should I learn this? Should I learn that? But rather, your approach should be, if you want to master machine learning, the first thing that you will need to master is everything related to data, right? Because data is one key thing that you will possibly struggle with a lot when you enter machine learning and data science as a field. Now, for example, what are some of these challenges that you will face in data? The first challenge that you will face as a data scientist when you're trying to implement machine learning as machine learning in your company is that you will need to first of all understand that where is the data, right? Where is the data? Similarly, how is the data to be collected, right? Thirdly, how is the data to be cleaned? How to clean data? Let me just keep it simple. How to clean data, and then fourthly is that if I have X amount of data, what accuracy it can give in terms of machine learning model, and what else can it do for me, right? So that is something that is really, really crucial, and that's something that you will need to master. If you need to master really well if you're trying to learn machine learning. Remember this phrase in machine learning world called ego: garbage in, garbage out. If you feed bad data to your machine learning algorithm, you will get bad results. And if you feed gold data to your machine learning gold in, gold out. If you feed gold data to your machine learning algorithm, you would get gold results. And this is something that you need to remember, master, and all the packages that have to do something with data. For example, in data manipulation, you have packages like NumPy, Pandas. You have other packages also that take care of data pre-processing, etc. Those are the packages that you will need to master when you're trying to learn machine learning, right? That's the first part about machine learning. The second thing that you will need to master is machine learning algorithms. Machine learning algorithms is what is the brain of machine learning, and the way you will need to master machine learning algorithm, and we look at that because that's what the session is, that whenever you're trying to learn machine learning algorithms, do not simply learn that this is the algorithm, this is linear regression, this is logistic regression, etc. Each machine learning algorithm has a particular task. Each machine learning algorithm has a particular task, and as a data scientist, where your expertise or how you can differentiate yourself is not by learning these algorithms, but by understanding that what is the business problem that needs to be solved, and then words to implement the right machine learning algorithm to solve that particular business problem. Pay close attention to this. I'll just repeat this, that your approach in machine learning should not be that these are the machine learning algorithms that I already know, and now I need to implement these machine learning algorithms on this data set. Rather, it should be a backward looking approach. You need to work backward, reverse. You need to work in a reverse fashion, wherein you're looking at what kind of problem statement is given to you, and then which machine learning algorithm can solve. First, important, master your data and master your algorithms. Both are very important. Let me know if you are with me till now, and if things are making sense, and if this point is absolutely clear so far. All right. Absolutely clear. Absolutely clear. Perfect. Very, very clear. All right. Makes sense. Yeah. Now, with that said, now how about we now start looking at the algorithm, because today's session is, yesterday we looked at data cleaning. We focused a little bit of that in the data, in the machine learning algorithms, in the case study that we did. We covered this more. Today we are going to look at the algorithms, and we are going to look at how to actually work backwards. When I said that you need to work backwards, how to actually solve problems using these machine learning algorithms, right? That's what brings us to the core of the session, which is machine learning algorithms. Yeah. Now, this is something that as a newbie, when I was starting in this field, this used to confuse me very, very often, that the difference between some of these terminologies, because they seem almost similar. Now, if you pay close attention, this should become clear to you, and this will make you super confident about getting into machine learning, because this is the very, very basics of machine learning. In machine learning, there are primarily two categories of algorithms called supervised algorithm, supervised learning, and unsupervised learning. So machine learning is of two types: supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Now, what do these two things mean? Because this can seem pretty confusing. Let's look at this. Let's talk about supervised learning, right? So in supervised learning, what you have is, if you have input, say X, and you have an output also of that algorithm, then it is that category of machine learning algorithm is called supervised learning. Now, what does that mean? Is that if you have, for example, if I want to predict the Bombay Stock Exchange or Sensex on 1st January 2019, right? What will be the inputs here and what will be the output here? I want you guys to think about the input parameters and the output parameter. If I ask you that Raghav, or whatever, since there are a lot of people, I'm just taking Raghav as an example. Raghav, what will be Bombay Stock Exchange? What will be Sensex in year 2019, January 1st, right? What will be the input parameters to make this prediction, and what will be the output parameters? Can you guys think of the input parameters? Very good. Awesome. Right? Historical data, past performance, previous data, trend over the last 6 months. Absolutely. Right. So here what you have is, based on some input parameter, what is the global scenario right now, how are the stock markets doing, etc., etc. You are trying to predict something which is the Y parameter, which is Sensex, or whatever the target variable is I want to predict, right? Is this clear to everyone what is supervised learning, or you want me to give one more example? Because getting this clear is very, very important, because this is the very basics of machine learning. Yeah. Okay. One more example. Right. All right. Let's look at another example. If I ask you, what will be the temperature of Bangalore on 1st December 2018? Is it an example of supervised learning or not? Yes or no? I will ask you, I will not give you the answer, right? Why? Why is it an example of supervised learning? Because I can tell you the temperature, or I can predict the temperature. I can make a predictive model. I can do some prediction only when I have some input variable. I can't simply tell you that what will be the temperature of Bangalore, just like that, right? So I need to have some input variables, and based on that input variable, I will have some output prediction. Yeah. All right. So I hope you guys are with me till now, and now this exactly should be clear to you, because let me know if this is now clear to you. Otherwise, I will move to supervised learning, and then I will try to again come back to this and ask you a couple of questions. Yeah. All right. So let me know. Give me a quick yes if this is clear to you now. What is supervised learning? It is nothing but where there is an input variable and an output variable. I want a yes from all 200 of you who are here in the session if this point is absolutely clear for once and all to you. After that, I'll talk about classification and regression in a while. Yeah. The second category of machine learning algorithms is called unsupervised learning. Right now, what is unsupervised learning is that in unsupervised learning, there is no output variable. Just pay very, very close attention to this because this can seem very counterintuitive to newbies. There is no output variable. That we are not trying to predict a target variable. We are not doing any prediction here, right? For example, all we are doing is we are grouping and interpreting data based on input data only. Now, what does that mean? If that seems confusing to you, don't worry. Just pay a little close attention and you'll understand this very, very clearly. For example, I want to segregate. Now you have elections coming up in Madhya Pradesh. I want to segregate people who will vote for BJP and people who will vote for Congress, right? BJP and Congress, right? So, and I have people in a district, and I want to see where can I get the highest votes, right? All I am doing is I'm just grouping these people. So I will see this is my vote bank, this is my vote bank, this is my vote bank. All I am doing is I am just grouping people based on their certain characteristics, right? Let's take another one more example to make this easier, right? If I am working in an e-commerce company, I want to I have my customers, and if let's say you're working as a data scientist at Flipkart, right? You're working as a data scientist at Flipkart, and Flipkart now wants to see it had its big billion days, and it wants to see, and it has its all customers who purchased customer one, let's say represented C1, C2, C3, C4, right? Now it wants to see that who were the highest spenders among all of these people up to C 1 million, right? C 1 million. So all I'm doing here is, so is this, let us ask you this question directly. Is this supervised learning or unsupervised learning? What kind of machine learning algorithm is this? Supervised or unsupervised? As a data scientist, you are trying to find out who are the highest spenders and what is common among them. Who are the lowest spenders and what is common among them? Right? Now, why? Okay, unsupervised. Now, somebody is saying supervised learning, right? It is not supervised. It is unsupervised learning because all I'm doing is I have all of this data and I'm categorizing this data based on highest spenders and lowest spenders, right? Are you guys with me here on unsupervised learning or not? Yeah, is this clear? Right? This is pretty simple now. Things have become pretty simple. Yeah. Let's take another example. That I am working with the government of India as a data scientist, and I want to determine the states in India or the districts in India with the highest poverty rates or the lowest poverty rates. And I want to see that are there any particular patterns or are there any particular states from which these districts are, so that I can release more funds for that states, or is there any commonality between the people or something else? What kind of machine learning algorithms will I use for determining this, supervised or unsupervised? Unsupervised, fantastic, right? Because all I'm doing is I have the district level data of all districts in India, and what I'm doing is now I'm building these clusters that these districts have the highest poverty rates, I am not doing any prediction. I am not doing any prediction here. All I'm doing is I am grouping and interpreting data. That's it, right? Okay. So in supervised, I hope this is clear to everyone, because I want to now move to the next part, which is the types of supervised learning. Give me a quick yes if this is absolutely now clear to you, because trust me, I see come across a lot of people who say that I know machine learning, but they get confused even in these very, very simple example. And now that you know this, you are in a much better shape, because this is the very basics of machine learning. Yeah. And what I'm trying to do also is I'm trying to take some real world examples so that you are able to connect with all of these concepts in a much better way. Yeah. Now, in supervised algorithm, let's talk about supervised algorithm. There are two types of algorithms that you have. One is regression, and the second kind of algorithm you have is classification, right? These are the two fundamental types of supervised algorithms that you have. Now, what you have in regression is whenever the output variable, whenever the target variable or output variable is continuous in nature, output variable is continuous in nature, then you use regression algorithms. And whenever the output variable is discrete in nature, then you use classification, right? Don't worry if you were not clear about continuous and discrete, we will look into this as well. Let's say that if I ask you a question, that I give you a data set and I give you the voting preferences from I'm say a journalist in the US, and now I'm working for data scientist as a data scientist at CNBC, yeah, or CNN. Now you have to look at various surveys, and you are given a question. All you have to determine is, will Trump be re-elected as president in 2020? What kind of algorithm is this? What category of algorithms is this? Will Trump be elected as the US president in 2020? Regression or classification? And first of all, is it supervised or unsupervised algorithm? Let me see if you are able to understand this. I hope most of the things will be pretty clear now. Supervised, very good. It is okay. Somebody is writing unsupervised. It can't be unsupervised. It is supervised, because in supervised I am getting one answer, right? It is not regression. It is classification. Remember, this is a key point that is important here, that in classification what you have is whenever your output is 1 or 0, whenever your output is 1 or 0, you use classification type of algorithm. For example, will Trump be elected as the US president in 2020? What will be your answer here? Yes or no, right? Make sense? Yes or no? Then it is classification. Will Modi or Narendra Modi be elected as the Prime Minister of India or not? Yes, true or false, right? Will you be able to switch the company next year? Yes or no, right? 1 or 0. Whenever the output is like this, it is always classification. Give me a quick yes if this point is absolutely clear to you. It is always binary. It is will loss. It is true false. It is 1 0. It is yes or no. It is classification, and the algorithms that you have to use are classification algorithms, right? But now let's look at regression. How many votes will Donald Trump get in 2020 elections? Is it clustering, classification, or regression? How many votes will Trump get in 2020 elections? Okay, regression. Very good. Here, number of votes that Trump will get in 2020 is a continuous variable, because votes is like 5, 10, 100,000, 10,000, 10 million, or whatever it is. It is a continuous variable. Whenever the target variable that we are trying to predict is continuous, you use regression algorithms, right? Let me just again ask you by another example. Will the Bombay Stock Exchange or will Sensex be higher in 2019 as compared to 2018? Classification or regression? Will Sensex be higher or not? Classification, right? Somebody is writing regression. Okay, 1 or 0. It's very, very obvious. It's 1 or 0. But what will be Bombay Stock Exchange next year? It is a simple regression problem because there I'm trying to predict a continuous variable, right? So that is the two categories. Now what we have done is we have looked at the two types of machine learning algorithms, supervised and unsupervised. And now we have looked at two categories of supervised learning, which is classification and regression, right? Uh, Now let's move to the next category of unsupervised learning, which is clustering, which we have already discussed. Now, in clustering, all you are doing is you are trying to find clusters between different things. You are trying to find basically groupings between different things. The second kind of unsupervised algorithm that you will need to remember before we move to the next section is association rules. This is very, very often used in e-commerce companies. How many of you are looking to become, say, data scientists in e-commerce companies like, or machine learning experts in e-commerce companies like Amazon, Flipkart, or some of these companies? If your goal is that, or if you're looking out at that, or if you've thought about that, an association rule is one thing you will be using very, very often, right? Now let's look at what association rules is and why this is important in especially in e-commerce company. In association rules, what you're essentially looking at is what is the relation between product A and product B, right? What is the relation between A and B? That is the simple. You're just trying to find a relationship. And where association rules is very often used is in recommender systems in e-commerce companies. Now, what do these recommender system means? Let's say that you're working as a data scientist in Big Basket, right? All of us have shopped from Big Basket. Let me know if we have already done that, right? So because you would be able to relate to this much easier. Now, as a data scientist in Big Basket, what your business problem is that you are given a problem. It will never be given that show a customer this or that. Your problem statement is that when a customer is shopping from Big Basket, we want to increase the cart value in Big Basket while shopping. I hope all of us understand cart value, right? What is cart value? The number of items that I add to my shopping cart so that the customer also benefits. He does not have to kind of keep on searching for that particular product. As at the same time, since e-commerce business is a razor thin margin business, I want the customer to purchase as many products as possible when he's shopping on my website. Yeah. Now, as Big Basket, when a customer on Big Basket as a data scientist, I would want to look at when a customer purchases milk, what is the next most likely product he is able to, he will most likely purchase. What do you guys think? Take some guesses, and then we look at how association rule scientifically looks at this instead of making some judgment. It actually looks at that. Yeah. Okay. Uh, all right. Rice, bread, dal, snacks. Oh my God, who's writing dal? Right. I don't think dal is the next best recommendation. Curd, cheese, chocolate powder, sugar. What else? Bread, egg. All right. So now you would see that all of these, all of us will have our own interpretation of things, and this is what exactly association rule tries to look at. What association rule tries to look at is it works on something called probability, right? Probability theory. This is essentially what it is based on. That what is the probability that if a customer adds milk, he is more likely to add bread? What is the probability that if the customer adds milk, he is likely to add eggs? What is the probability that if a customer adds milk, he is likely to add sugar? What is the probability if the customer adds milk, he or she is likely to add cheese? And what is the probability if the customer adds milk, he or she is likely to add jam to it, to the shopping cart? So what you have in association rules is you have probability assigned for each of these events. Say the probability for bread is 0.7, the probability for X is 0.4 or 0.5, the probability for sugar is 0.3, and the probability for jam is 0.65. Yeah. Now, as a data scientist, or as to increase the cart value, because that's what my goal is. What is the item that I'm most likely to recommend to my customer? Right? What is the item that I'm most likely to recommend my customer given these probabilities? Yeah. What is the what is so Karthik has a question, but is it not based on historical data? Exactly. All of these probabilities are exactly coming from what you mentioned. All of these probabilities, how will I calculate? I will calculate these probabilities based on historical data only, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. It is probability, and I am most likely to show bread as my first recommendation to the customer, as my recommendation to the customer. But remember, there, if you see jam, that is also a very close second, right? There is not a lot of difference between 0.7 and 0.65. Now, I want you guys to take 10 seconds and think what will you do in such a case, because these probabilities are very, very close to each other, right? So I cannot just show bread and say that the customer might not need jam. Possibly he needs jam or she needs to add jam to the shopping cart, because the probabilities are very, very close. What will I do? Absolutely. I will show both bread and jam. Absolutely. Fantastic. This is something that I wanted, that I would club this and I will make it a combo, right? I will make a combo of milk, bread, and jam. And I will first of all, as my first recommendation, show say milk and bread. And the second recommendation that I can show is that a combo of milk, bread, and jam, and possibly give some discount so that the probability of the customer adding all three is pretty good to the shopping cart, right? So let me know if this example made it absolutely clear what does association rule mean, number one, and number two, how to actually use association rules in shopping carts in recommended system, because this is the exact formula recommended system to build, and you will actually be using as a data scientist when you will be working in e-commerce companies. Yeah. Now, before I ask you one question, let me know if you guys are enjoying the session, if things are becoming absolutely clear, and more importantly, if the promise that I made that this is going to be one of the best sessions that you would have attended, if we are able to deliver on that promise together. This session is becoming more exciting, not because I'm sharing some insights with you, but because you guys are also giving amazing answers, and I'm happy to see each one of you participating here. Let me know if you guys are with me, if the speed is okay, and if you are able to understand each and everything, because what I want is you should have absolute clarity at the end of the session. Yeah. All right. Yes. Enjoying. Somebody is saying, let me see. Raghavendra writes, even smiling, thank God, right? My join here. Excellent, enjoying. And now, one more question is that are you guys able to finally see that how the applications of machine learning are very, very diverse? Can you guys now see that it is not that why when we say machine learning is the future? Let me know if you guys are finally clear that it is one concept that can be applied to multiple hundreds of areas, because classification can be used in any domain, regression can be used in any domain, clustering can be used in any domain, and a lot of these concepts can be used in any domain. You are not you are not limited by any one particular domain here. Yeah. All right. Great. Now, let me ask you one question, and let me just show you one graph. And if you look at this visualization here, you would see that process optimization is written as a regression technique here. I want you guys to take 10 seconds, and given the fact that now you understand what regression is, let me know why process optimization is a regression problem. Lecture is awesome. All right, great. You guys are awesome. Okay. Ajit writes, this is my first session on machine learning, but it's very informative. To be glad to hear that, Ajit. Right now, process optimization is categorized as regression. Now, I want you guys to let me know before we move to the learning path that why process optimization is under regression. What does process optimize? Process looks like something else. Why is this? Process optimization is based on percentage analysis. Process optimization is associated with cost. Process optimization is done to achieve desired output. Absolutely. Whenever you have process optimization, let's say, for example, let me take some different example, and let me take supply chain optimization. Right? Those of you who work in Six Sigma would know it better than me. But let me just take a supply chain example. Right? In process optimization, in supply chain, you're always looking at how can I reduce the time to deliver, for example, a product. If iPhones are being shipped from Shenzhen, iPhones manufactured at, say, Foxconn factories in Shenzhen, China. If I want to reduce their time to delivery to all the countries globally, there are various factors that will go into reducing that. And once I change an input variable, the output will also change. For example, right, this time to ship the product to India is 50 days, right? If I change some of the variables, what will be the new number of days? It can be 30, it can be 60, it can be 70. That's why whenever we look at process optimization, this is always a continuous variable, and that's why it's always a regression problem. Let me just now give you one example, or let me ask you one example wherein you would be able to see that in the same data set you can use two different kind of machine learning algorithm. And that's why what I said in the beginning is that you need to take a backward looking approach here, in which you are looking at the problem statement first and then working backward. Let's look at that. Now let's say you are working in healthcare, and you're working as a data scientist in Novartis, right? Healthcare, you're working as a data scientist at Novartis, and you are given scans of cancer patients, and you have scan 1, scan 2, scan 3, scan 4, right? All of these scans. And you have been given a task that now through machine learning, it is becoming even more possible to predict whether by looking at cancer, doctors don't have to look at it. You can just feed it through your machine learning algorithm, and machine learning algorithm will determine whether the patient has cancer or not. Now, I want you guys to let me know that if I am a data scientist and if I am or machine learning expert, what kind of machine learning algorithm will I use to predict whether this patient 1 or scan 1, the patient whose scan is there, which is scan 1, has cancer or not? We'll move to the next stage, but this is the final test for you guys before we actually move to that. Now, this is where things have started getting confusing and people have started getting confused. It is not clustering. It is not unsupervised. It is supervised. And in supervised also, what is it? It is classical rule is, does the patient have cancer or not? Yes, no. Does the patient has cancer? Yes or no, right? Yes, no. Now, if I want to now see that what is the common pattern between all these cancer patients, if this patient has cancer, this patient has cancer, I want to see, are these patients of a particular gender? Are these patients of a particular age category? Are these patients of a particular city? Then what will I do? Or are these patients of a particular stage of cancer, are in a particular stage of cancer, like SG writes in the chat window, what kind of machine learning algorithm will I use in this case? Now, again, confusing. Now people are writing unsupervised and regression, right? This is where you need to pay attention that on the same data set, you'd see that we have just used classification, and on the same data set, because now the problem statement has changed and my goal is to find out what is the commonality between all of these machine learning algorithms, all these scans. Here the right answer is unsupervised learning, which is clustering, because I am trying to form clusters of yes, 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 and then I'm looking at, are these all of these people of a particular age category, say 50, 60 age? All I am doing is I am trying to do grouping here, right? Let me know, even if those of you who marked regression are now clear that why is it clustering. And my goal through this simple example was to help you guys see that on the same data set, you can use different kind of machine learning algorithms based on what the end objective is, right? All right. Okay. So somebody has a question. Please explain why clustering. Why clustering? Simply because all I'm doing is I'm grouping these people. If I'm looking at, say, yes, 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 all these patients had cancer. Now, all I'm doing is I'm looking at all of this data and I'm seeing, are they of a particular age category? Are they of a particular income bracket? Are they of a particular city? Are they in a particular stage of cancer? So all I'm doing here is I am I am just grouping them, nothing else, right? So it all, like Karthik writes, it all depends on the problem statement that you are trying to trying to solve, not on the machine learning algorithm, not on the data, not on the data set. It always is on the end goal, right? So before I move to the learning path, let me know finally if for once and all of these concepts are clear, because before we look at this is something I would want to ensure that all of us are clear with some of these basic concepts of supervised, unsupervised classification, clustering, etc., etc. Yeah. All right. Are you guys with me? It's 50 minutes into the session, and I'm having a ball sharing some of these concepts with you. But what I would want to do is have a quick feedback from you also, that if things are making sense and if you're enjoying the session and if you guys are able to see how machine learning is actually being used across all different industries. Yeah. All right. So let's look at how about we move now to the final part, which is the learning path, because the learning path is something which a lot of us here would be pretty interested in learning. Let me know if you can if we would want to switch to the learning path. This learning path, trust me, now if you have much more greater understanding of what machine learning is, if you follow this learning path, transitioning into a data science and machine learning role will become much easier for you. Yeah. So when you're trying to learn machine learning, my first advice to people is not to directly jump into machine learning. You need to master both. What we said in the beginning, you need to master both the data part of machine learning, right, and the machine learning part of machine learning. So that's why in real world data science, what I always recommend is that try to learn the entire life cycle of a data science project, right from cleaning data to exploring data to learning the machine learning part. And this is what I call full stack data scientist. Your goal should be only one. And that goal is to not become a machine learning expert, but to become a full stack data scientist. A full stack data scientist is someone who is able to understand the business problem, able to collect data, who's able to clean data, who's able to build machine learning model, and who's able to then deploy the model into real world solution. If you can be that person, and this is a very interesting journey. You obviously cannot become all of this in one day. It's a very step by step journey, but your goal should be to master all of these different components. Now, how do you go about mastering all of these components? The first stage of this, as I said, is that you need to become very, very good at mastering the very basics of data analysis. Here, your concepts of statistics need to be really, really good, because statistics is the foundation of machine learning and data analysis and data science. And the second thing that you will need to do is, when you are trying to learn data science, is you need to become really good at one of these two areas. If you remember yesterday, we again discussed this in greater depth. You need to learn packages like NumPy, Pandas for data manipulation, for data visualization, Seaborn, Matplotlib, Bouquet, and some of these packages. This will make you really good in doing this, which is exploratory data analysis. If you master this, then your data analysis stage, how to analyze data, what story your data is telling, you would be able to master that really, really well. That's step one, stage one of this journey into machine learning and data science. Now, the second step of this journey is that learning core machine learning. Now, pay close attention to this word. Machine learning is a very, very vast field. In fact, the highest number of PhDs today in the world globally are working and doing their PhDs in machine learning, right? And that's why what you will need to do is, you will need to focus on core machine learning. And what I mean by core machine learning is, wherein you are not looking at the most advanced machine learning algorithm, but you're focusing on some of the basics of machine learning. For example, how to evaluate machine learning model performance, what are the basic supervised algorithms, and actually use these supervised and unsupervised algorithms in real world data sets. The more you implement these in real world data sets, the more confident you will become about your skills. That is the second part. Third part is, if you master data visualization, it will become really, really effective for you to be able to present your stories, which are called data stories, to end stakeholders. And this is where your understanding of a tool, to some of these data visualizations tool like Tableau comes in very handy. For example, we built this dashboard through Tableau, and it took me less than 30 minutes to build this visualization. The best part about Tableau is it's drag and drop, it's very easy, and you don't need any programming background, right? There are other tools also, D3JS, ClickView, but our recommendation is go with Tableau. That's the industry standard for data visualization. So if you master all of these three areas, you are pretty good, and your skills are all set. You will be pretty good in of data science. But my question is, how many of you want to become experts in data science? How many of you would want to kind of learn data science, be the best in data science, because you would know that this is where the future is, and you're looking to master this not only on the basic level, but you are looking to become a data leader in this space? Because what I believe is that there is no dearth of people who know the basics, but what the industry needs is people who actually know the most advanced concepts, right? Let me know if that is your goal, because I believe that's where the money is, that's where the job switch is, that's where the transitions can happen very easily, and most of the top companies are interested in people who know these concepts in depth. Yeah, and that's what your target is. I highly recommend you to learn advanced machine learning concepts, because these concepts are something which are very, very important in terms of helping you master the most advanced things. For example, if you're given a machine learning model and you have a lot of variables, let's say you are collecting 200 variables or 100 variables, what are the problem with 100 variables, as you would have seen in yesterday's case study, is that if you start building a machine learning model with 100 variables, your machine learning model will become very, very slow, right? Model performance is going to be one issue. How do you remove the dimensions in a machine learning model? How do you optimize machine learning model? How do you build time series forecasting model? How do you do anomaly detection? How do you build that is used in IoT data? How do you build recommended systems? So these are some of the most advanced concepts that you might not be using on a day-to-day basis when you work as a data scientist, but something that will put you in the top 20% of people in this space. And trust me, this is where the magic starts happening for your career when you're building a career in machine learning and data science here. Yeah. So that is getting mastery in data science. The last step is, if those of you who are interested in AI, for example, I'm a little biased here, as I said yesterday also, that since this is my area of research, I would highly recommend each one of you to definitely look at deep learning. Deep learning is nothing but it's a subfield of machine learning. It has to do with neural networks, just like the way neurons work in our brains. Similarly, machines try to mimic human brain through neural networks, and that was deep learning is. If you know deep learning, you are moving towards artificial intelligence, and this is what I highly recommend because this is something where the future is going to be. Yeah. All right. Uh, that's what you have. If you follow this learning path, I can promise you transitioning into data science and machine learning roles will be super easy. If you want to take a screenshot of this, take a screenshot of this so that you are able to refer this at a later stage, and this will become your guiding light in terms of how you would want to look at transitioning into data science and machine learning roles. Yeah. All right. Perfect. So let me know if I can move. I want your permission to move to the last stage of today's session, which is the scholarship part. We had given out a couple of scholarships in yesterday's session, and since today is the last day, the last few scholarships are left, which are reserved for this 2-day training. Let me know if you have if you would want me to move to the scholarship section, and this is essentially for you because you are in this session because you want to transition into data science and machine learning roles. That's the reason that there are 100 different things that you could do on a weekend morning, but you are here on a weekend morning because you would want to transition from a testing Java, ETL, or whatever profile you are in into a machine learning and data science role. And these scholarships are exactly designed to help you get there. Let me know if you're interested in knowing more about the scholarships and how you can get, whether you are eligible for the scholarship, and more important, knowing a little bit about the program on which these scholarships are applicable. Yeah. Rajiv says interested. All right. Okay. Yes. Perfect. So let me just move to the scholarship, and let me also check with you if you have gone through the brochure, the GCD brochure, if you have gone through the CDF brochure, and if you have understood the program format, the curriculum, if you have gone through the curriculum, let me know in the chat window because I will try to keep the information about the program a little short if you have already gone through that, and I will open up the registration for the GCD program very quickly if you have already gone through the brochures and all. Yeah. All right. So some have gone, some have not gone. Not a problem. So essentially, these scholarships are is coming from the Insight Vision Fund that has been established to attract talent professionals to the GCD program and to also produce data leaders of tomorrow. Insight Vision Fund is a 15 crore corpus fund, and this is the fund that is helping us build this very strong network and community of students who are being groomed to become data leaders of tomorrow, as students exactly like you who work in the IT industry, who have 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years of experience, and who want to transition from legacy technologies from what you are currently doing to next generation technologies like data science, AI, and machine learning. This scholarship, which is the Insight Vision Scholarship, gets applied to the program called the Global Certificate in Data Science that you must be already aware about in the CDF program. Let me quickly talk a little bit about the GCD program and how this program will help you achieve what you want to do in the next 2 to 5 years of your career. The first thing about the GCD program and how it is designed is that GCD program is designed keeping in mind working professionals. So it's a weekend program spread over 6 months and spread over 6 terms. The whole goal of the GCD program is that if you have some work experience and if you are able to build upon that work experience and if you are able to master all of these concepts that you will be learning in the GCD program over 6 months, you should be able to transition into a data science and machine learning role successfully. Now, let me tell you some of the ways in which the GCD program is designed, and the first of these ways which makes the GCD program great is the curriculum of the GCD program. What we did in the GCD program and what you'll be going through in the GCD program is a 6-term based approach, wherein you have one term in which you focus and specialize in one area. For example, in term 1, you start with data analysis basics with Python. In term 2, you move to data visualization and exploratory data analysis. And essentially, in term 1, you learn things like statistics, Python basics, NumPy, Pandas, data manipulation, data cleaning. In term 2, you learn data visualization, wherein essentially you are learning how to visualize data, how to tell data stories, and you implement all of that in exploration. You are solving real world case studies to explore, analyze data. After this, it moves to the third part, wherein we take a very deep approach to machine learning. In term 3, you start getting your feet wet into the field of machine learning through this term called machine learning foundation. This has the very basics of machine learning, but which will serve a great deal for you in terms of building very, very strong foundation in some of the machine learning algorithms. Vikas will post if you can post the detailed curriculum, you would be able to see some of the topics that are covered, each one of the topics that are covered in the entire curriculum. After that, you have term 4, which is where you start becoming a master in machine learning, which you have is machine learning intermediate. This is where you start learning not the foundation, but you start moving to unsupervised algorithms, and you also start learning some of the more advanced concepts like dimensionality, reduction, recommended system, etc. And term 5 is my favorite term, wherein you get to choose between one of the 2 electives. Elective 1 is machine learning advanced, and elective 2 is TensorFlow for deep learning. Now, whether you want to become an expert in machine learning, you can take machine learning advanced. And if you want to, for example, move towards deep learning, and as I said, this is what my research area also is, you can choose elective 2, which is TensorFlow for deep learning. You have a choice of electives in term 5. After that, in term 6, you wrap it up with the final capstone project. So capstone project essentially is, in each of the terms, you have term project. You have term project to implement all of that, what you're learning in each of the term. And after every 3 terms, whatever you learn in these 3 terms, you'll learn that in the capstone project through this capstone project that you'll actually be working on at the end of 3 terms and at the end of 6 terms. So that's the format of the GCD program. It's designed in a very, very rigorous way, because we believe that an area like data science and machine learning cannot be mastered in 2 to 3 months. That's why you need 6 to 8 months to master this area in its entirety, and that's what exactly the GCD program attempts to do. Plus, what you also have is you have an option to take 2 of these optional term 1, OPT1, which is exploratory data analysis with R. For those of you who want to master both Python, right? Python is the most de facto language of tool for data scientists across the globe, but who also want to build expertise in R as well. You have optional OPT1, which is optional term 1. You add another skill set to your kitty along with Python and TensorFlow. And the second optional is one of my favorite optional, which is data visualization with Tableau. Tableau, as I said, anyone can learn Tableau in a very short period of time, and really, really powerful software. This is OPT2. Based on what you want to learn, you can opt for any of the options. Now, based on this, let me know very quickly which elective and which optional do you think is the right elective and optional for you. Each one of you, for example, would have a different combination based on what you specifically want to do, right? Let me know, and take this time to think about it a little more, because this is something which is important in terms of finding out that what should you actually focus on. Yeah. OPT1 elective, OPT1 elective 1. All right. OPT1 elective 2, elective 2, OPT1. Awesome. All right. So this is basically, this totally depends. There is no right answer to this. That totally depends on what you want to do. I will move to all of this part in a while, but let me just also help you choose the right program for you. There are two programs two programs that INSEAD runs. The flagship program is the Global Certificate in Data Science program, which is a 6-month program, and this is essentially designed for working professionals who want to transition into a data science and a machine learning role. So if your goal is to transition into a data science and machine learning role, then the GCD program is the right program for you. And if your goal is to upskill in data science and machine learning, if that is something that you're looking to do, then there is another program called the Certificate in Data Science Foundation program. The CDF program, if you observe very closely, the first 3 terms of the CDF program are exactly the same. But what the CDF program does is it builds a solid foundation in the basics of data science and machine learning, but it leaves things there. The GCD program goes further from there. Now, how to choose the right program? The right program for you is based on this simple thing, that if your goal is to transition into a data science role, then the GCD program is for you, because it has the depth, the breadth, and more importantly, the time you need to learn all of these things along with your full-time job. And if your goal is to upskill in data science, for example, if you're currently working in testing, or you're working as a project manager, or you're working as an SAP consultant, and if your goal is to add these skills to your kitty, to add these skills on your resume, then the CDF program is right for you. Before I move to the registration page through which you will be able to avail the scholarship, let me know if you have been able to, now if you're clear which program is the right program for you, GCD or CDF. Let me know in the chat window if that has become clear to you now. Yeah. All right. GCD, 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 CDF, CDF, GCDF, CDF, CDF, GCD. Right. So I the students are for GCD, and GCD is the program where most of our students are enrolled. Right now, there are 300 plus students enrolled in across GCD and CDF. 80% of the students currently are in the GCD program, and 20% of the students at INSEAD are in the CDF program. This is perfect for people who want to take it slow and nice, and then later you have this option of taking a credit transfer. Now, what does the credit transfer option mean? And let me just quickly talk about it before I move on. Is that you can start with CDF, you can start with CDF, and later you can take a credit transfer to the GCD, which means you don't have to repeat term 1, term 2, term 3. You directly take an upgrade to term 4. That option is there. Yeah. So that is about the GCD program and the CDF program. The two batches start on November. The next batch starts on November 17, for which we have very few seats left because the registrations had opened long time back. And the batch after that is where most of the seats are available, which is January 5th batch. These are the two choices of batch that you have based on when you want to start. You can choose any of the batches. The quality of faculty is exactly the same. Everything remains the same, whether it is capstone projects, live lectures, student support, and other things. Everything across the batches is exactly the same. The fee for the GCD program is 2 lakhs. The fee for the CDF program is 1 lakh. Now, thanks to the INSEAD Vision scholarship that I mentioned some time back, you get 75% tuition waiver, but the minimum requirement or the eligibility is you need to have at least 2 years of experience. That is the minimum criteria for this scholarship. If you have that, then congratulations, you get this scholarship. You need to fill up a scholarship application that I'll walk you through what the form is. And the fee for the GCD program after the INSEAD Vision scholarship becomes 75%. After 75% tuition waiver is 49,000, and the fee for the CDF program after the 75% tuition waiver is 25,000. And this fee also you can pay in install EMI options. We have tie-ups with almost all major credit card companies. We have that option as well. I'll just walk you through how to register for the GCD program and your scholarship as well, right? So let me know if this seems if the scholarship is helpful and if the scholarship exactly helps you do that, what the objective is, that anyone, irrespective of their financial background, should be able to become a data leader, should be able to upskill in data science and machine learning, and should be able to transition into a data science and machine learning role. That's the exact goal of this scholarship. Let me know if this makes things super easy for each one of you to be able to upskill in data science and machine learning, right? So I'll open up the floor for registration. Let me just walk. Uh, let me just open it for you. So this is how you can reserve your seat for any of the batches and also your scholarship. If you have less than 2 years of experience, please do not fill up this form. This is the minimum eligibility is 2 years of experience. Here is how you can select the batch and the program. If you're planning you can reserve your that's a very nominal amount that we have kept so that you get to talk to the admissions team and also clarify your questions. For example, here you give your name, your email address, and you select your batch. Selecting the right batch is important. Please select the right batch. Do not mark October. Mark you need to select that. Yeah. Once you've selected that, you will be able to reserve your seat for that particular batch. And in the coming week, you will be getting a call from our admissions team to help you out with the next step. To help you out with the next steps, you would also have once you register right now, you would also receive a welcome email, number one. Number two is that welcome email has the link to complete the scholarship application and the remaining fee payment. You will be able to do that using the links as well, right? So here is, for example, the two options that you have. You can select GCD, and then you can select, you have two options. You can pay through net banking or you can pay through credit card. In credit card, we have tie-ups with almost all major credit card companies. You can start your EMIs as low as 1,000 or 2,000 rupees per month. The whole goal is, irrespective of what you want to do, there should be whatever stops you have in achieving your goal of upskilling and mastering and learning data science and machine learning, that has been taken care of with this scholarship and with these partnerships. Yeah. All right. So the link is open. The link will be open for the next 30 minutes till the time session goes on. It's 12:20, and you can reserve your seat for the upcoming programs. And once you've reserved your seat, just quickly introduce yourself in the chat window. I'd love to welcome each one of you, those of you who are joining the forthcoming batches. And I would want to know from you your profile, which batch are you planning to go for, and which city are you from, and which company, and how many years of experience do you have. Yeah. All right, great. So somebody has a question. Which one would you, GCD or CDF, which one would you suggest for people who are new in AI machine learning field, non-IT background? If you are from non-IT background, GCD is not for you. You should start with CDF. You can obviously go for GCD, but my recommendation is start with a low risk thing, so that your lock-in is also lesser. You are able to first of all take your first steps into the data science world with the CDF program, and the fact that the fee for the CDF program is also very reasonable after the scholarship. This is the program that you should go for if you are from a non-IT background. If you are from an IT background, if you're working with companies like Infosys, TCS, IBM, Accenture, Capgemini, then the GCD program is for you if you're looking to transition into a data science and a machine learning role. Yeah. All right. So the link is active, guys. Once you have registered your seat, as I said, yes, today is the last day to register through this scholarship reserved for this particular webinar. Make sure that you have reserved your seat, and after that, I would love to welcome each one of you. Yeah. All right. Sumit, welcome Sumit. Sumit Padi, welcome Sumit. Welcome Srinivas. Welcome Ganesh. Welcome Javed. Welcome Harish. Super excited to have you. And I've not even finished all the information, and you guys have already registered. So, did you attend the yesterday's session? And do you know everything that you have registered so fast? Yeah. Okay. Prashant writes, I want to enroll for the GCD program. Prashant, you can go ahead and reserve your seat here on this from this page for the GCD. You just select GCD, and you should be able to register the GCD program through this page itself. Yeah. All right. If you want to select CDF, you guys can select CDF also. Whatever is your career goal, depending at, and I've already defined the matrices for you, you can select that batch as well. Yeah. All right. Next question is regarding the certification and the career assistance. Let me know if you guys would want me to talk a little bit about the certification and the career assistance, because those two parts are very, very important parts for us, and we believe that those parts are something that really differentiate the GCD program. And I would love to tell you a little bit about the certification as well as the career assistance part of the GCD program. Let me know if you would want to know about that. Yeah. Let me see if there is something wrong. Why is that I'm not able to click on this syllabus GCD program? Yeah. So here is what the certification, the approach of GCD program. And machine learning, like the way GCD program does. The focus of the GCD program is not only on making you master the concepts through the rigorous curriculum, but the focus of the GCD program also is to make you a data leader of tomorrow. And that's what the global certification of the GCD program will actually help you do. What do you mean by global certification is that in each term of the GCD program, you will be inviting one global leader from around the world, one company, one startup from across the world, US, Israel, UK, China, Singapore, India, to interact with you. Now, how that helps is that it helps you in a three-way form. You are learning your concepts in the classes, number one, and the learning happens along with the faculty in live sessions on the weekends. Plus, you are getting this global exposure of what is happening around the world in the field of data science and machine learning, which is super important to make you a data leader or a data scientist. And the third thing is that you have these industry sessions in which we are preparing you for some of these positions. So essentially, it's a three-way approach wherein you become totally ready for taking some of these roles in the field of data science and machine learning. What you get is this certificate that is signed, and that has a unique certification ID. If any employer across the world wants to validate this certification with us, they can do so quoting, you just have to give them this unique certification ID, and they would be able to validate this unique certification ID with us, right? All right, so let me welcome a couple of people more. Let me just welcome Sahu. Welcome, Sahu. Super excited to have you. If you can quickly let me know your profile, that will be great. Welcome, Sunny. Sunny, can you let me know what is your profile? Which company do you work with, and how many years of experience do you have? Yeah. So I would love to know from each one of you who are enrolling for the GCD or this CDM program, what your profile is. Sunny writes Java 6 years working in TIAA. Okay, I'm not sure what does that company do, but welcome, Sunny. I would love to interact with you at a later point of time. The second part about the GCD program that many of you would be interested in is the career assistance part about the GCD program. Let me know if you would want me to talk a little bit about the career assistance part and how the career assistance part is something that you will find really, really helpful. Yeah. All right. Dr. Savita writes the fee for 3 months. Savita, the fee for the CDF program after the scholarship is 25,000 plus GST, and the fee for the GCD program is 49,000 plus GST. Right. So that is the fee for the GCD program. Yeah. All right. So let me talk a little bit about the career assistance part. The career assistance part is something which is really, really important because we realize that there are a lot of programs out there that just teach you the theory part, but when it comes to helping you transition into a data science and a machine learning role, they leave you midway, and that's why students are then lost. That what do I do now? I have learned some of the basics, but I don't even know how to transition into a data science role. And to solve that exact pain point, there we have established something called Inset Career Center. The whole goal of Inset Career Center is essentially to give you those resources, those inputs, those connects that will help you transition into a data science and a machine learning role successfully. After the first 2 months, once you are done with the program for the first 2 months, after the first 2 months, you will have monthly career Q&As, resume workshops, interview toolkit workshops. You will get access to ICC, which has a lot of amazing resources. Plus, you will be inviting recruiters from all different companies to speak with you, and we'll be organizing mock interviews in the last term as well. So the goal here is to take a very comprehensive approach so that even if you have say 5 years of experience or 10 years of experience and 15 years of experience, and the average work experience in the GCD program by the way is 12 years, that's the average work experience. And that's why our goal is that you need to be able to package yourself right. If your packaging is not correct in the job market, regardless of how many years of experience do you have, transitioning will be difficult. If your packaging is correct, then transitioning into data science and machine learning roles is going to be super easy. Yeah. So that's what Insight Career Center is for. And whichever company you would want a reference in, we have students from almost all companies. Got 13 companies also that you would want to switch to. We have students from almost all companies that you can think of, and you'll have references and connects in those companies as well. Yeah. All right. Let me just see if there is something wrong with my Vikas. Can you hear me? Because I think that my laptop screen has hung. Let me see if I can join from another laptop. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys are able to hear me, because hey guys, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I joined from another computer. There was some issue with my laptop. I joined back. I'll just share my screen. Just give me a sec. But in the meantime, the link is open. And this is, as I said, a webinar exclusive scholarship. This is reserved for those of you who are here in today's session, and this is exclusively for working professionals. If you're a student, this is not for you. You need to have at least 2 years of experience to be eligible for this scholarship. This scholarship is meant to give you that confidence at a in a super easy way to be able to upskill in data science and machine learning roles successfully. Yeah. Okay. Let me just come back to the slide I was on, and let me just help you with the next steps. Yeah. So let me just now start sharing my screen with you, and let me just show you where is the link. The link is already shared with you. Let me just show you what the next steps are. So the next steps after you register right now is this. Right now, this fee that you have paid, which is the registration fee, which is of 3,000. This fee, the good news is this is not different from the. You don't have to pay the full fee after this. This fee is the reservation fee plus the scholarship fee. That means this of fee 3,000 gets deducted from your final fee for the CDF, which is the fee that you need to pay for CDF after this is 22,000, and the fee that you need to pay for GCD is 46,000. And this fee also can be paid in easy installments as well, since we have EMI options, credit card EMI options. If you have credit cards from one of the partner banks that we have, you can opt for any of the EMI options as well. So after this, what happens next is you have till November 10th to complete two steps. You complete your scholarship application and you pay the remaining fee. Both the steps are very, very important, and these are mandatory. Once you complete both the steps, then you will receive access to the GCD pre-program prep. Going through this pre-program prep is very, very important because a lot of you, for example, might be from Oracle, non-IT background, testing background, and you would not have done programming for quite a long period of time. In fact, some of you with say 15, 20 years of experience might not have done programming for quite a while. So this GCD pre-program prep that you will undergo through some of the kits that we'll be sharing with you on Inside Learning Center, you'll get access to Inside Learning Center and you'll start your pre-program prep with this data science starter kit. Before November 17th, you need to mandatorily finish this data science starter kit, because if you do not finish this starter kit and you are attending the classes, you will not be able to understand stuff. So finishing this is mandatory. Yeah. All right. So let me know if there are any questions that need to be answered. I'll be happy to take one question at a time. The number of questions is huge, but I will want to answer them one at a time. So what are the timings, batch timings for the GCD program from November 17th? The batch timing the GCD program are the classes always take place on Saturdays and Sundays. And number one, and number two is the class timings for the batch keeps on changing from term to term, but it will always be either 8 to 10 in the morning or 11 to 1 in the morning. It will be in one of the two slots. For example, term one of term one of uh, uh, sorry, term one of November batch is starting at 8 to 10, and term two can be either at 8 to 10 or it can be at 11 to 1, right? So it will be on one of these two slots for the GCD or the CPF program. Yeah? All right. Keep on introducing yourself. I'll just welcome the few more students who have registered themselves. Welcome Videsh, welcome Piyush, welcome Jagruti, welcome Subhash, welcome Nayan, welcome Chandrika, welcome Sharda. All right. So welcome everyone to the GCD program upcoming cohort. Super excited to have you, and I hope this scholarship would have made it super easy for you to be able to enroll in the GCD program and upskill yourself and take your career to the next level, where the whole world or technology world is actually going towards. Yeah. Okay. Let me know if you would want to have a look at the student profiles of the current students as well as the past students as well. Because I'm sure that a lot of you have questions related to, am I little old, am I little young, who will I be studying with in the classes? If that is your concern, let me just show you the past students. August 11th means students who started their batch a couple of months back. Currently, there are 300 plus students enrolled across various cohorts of the GCD program from top IT product, BFSI, telecom companies, any company, any top-notch company that you can think of that exists globally. We have lots of students in each of the companies. For example, the maximum number of students that we get are from companies like Accenture, IBM, Infosys, Deloitte, etc. And we have a good number of people coming from banks as well. We have a good number of students from JP Morgan, Credit Suisse, Morgan Stanley, Citibank, ICICI Bank, HDFC, and a lot of other banks as well. Plus, a good number of students coming from other companies like Verizon, Oracle, Toshiba, Novartis, and a lot of companies that are not here essentially. Yeah. Okay. This is the snapshot of the GCD students in terms of where do they come from and what their profiles are. Right from software engineers all the way to directors and AVPs and vice presidents of in all of these top multinational companies. You'll be sitting in the classes out with everyone. Yeah. Okay. Next question is: I'm in the field of data science for almost 3 years. I have background in statistics. Which course would you suggest for me? So you can right now start with, if whenever you are confused, I always say this: do not take more risk and start with a lesser risky thing. Start with CDF, and then if your journey, Madhura, is pretty good, like the way it is for a lot of students, then you can take a credit transfer to the GCD option. So you always have that option to take a credit transfer from the CDF program to the GCD program. Madhura, does that seem logical to you? And can you see how that is absolutely good? Yeah. Okay. Next question is the GCD course helpful for academicians to upgrade to industry in data science? I'm a professor from engineering college and want to transit to software industry. In fact, we do have professors, even IIT professors for that matter. And you would be surprised, we have professors. We have not only IITians, but we also have IIT professors enrolled in the previous GCD cohorts. If you want to have a look at some of the detailed profiles of our students or of our past students, let me just show you the community. Community is wherein you will be discussing things beyond the classroom hours a lot. Let me just show you the community of the GCD program very quickly. So this is where the interaction keeps on happening between GCD students beyond the classroom hours, and this ensures that whether you are in office, whether it's a weekday, whether it is a weekend, GCD students are discussing with each other throughout the week, and you benefit not only from your learning but also from the learnings of others. So this is a thread. If you guys can see this closely, this is the thread, Data Leaders of Tomorrow. There are almost 113 introductions from our students, just like you, who have introduced themselves, who are working in all top companies. If you want to have a look at what their goal of joining the GCD program is, given that all of them are in pretty good jobs in pretty good companies. Even people from Microsoft are there in the GCD program, some of the previous batches. If you want to have a look at some of the student profiles, and you would find these student profiles very exciting. I have posted the link in the chat window. You can have a look at the student profiles and whom you will be interacting with in the classes. Yeah. All right. So the link is open, guys. It's just 5 minutes left. Yesterday, since the registration window was a little lesser because it was a day one. Today it's a little bigger. It's still 5 minutes left. As I told you, we are going to wind up the registrations at 12:45. So make sure that you have reserved your seat and you have reserved your scholarship. This is a life-changing scholarship in that it helps you achieve your goal of transitioning into a data science and a machine learning role, and you have excuses no more for not being able to transition into data science and machine learning. Yeah. All right. Just a minute. I will just adjust the brightness of my laptop. All right. Okay. So, okay. Next question is: can I take both the electives and both the optionals? How many of you would want to take both the electives and both the optionals? Let me know in the chat window, because that's something that a lot of you, in fact, all of you would have that question: can I opt for both the electives and the optionals? If that is a question, I would love to answer that. Yeah. Okay. Sharath writes, registered for GCD. Welcome, Sharath. All right. Welcome, Nilesh. Welcome, Nilesh. Super excited to have you in the GCD upcoming cohort. So if you want to take the GCD electives, now the problem with the GCD program is that it is so exhaustive that you cannot do all of these things during the 6 month duration. For example, during the 6 month, you can choose only one of the two electives. You cannot do both the electives because it is too much to grapple with in a 6 month duration. But still, some of you would want to do both the electives, and that's what we make it really, really easy for you to be able to do that. What you have here is, even after the GCD program ends, you can go for the other elective if you want. For example, in the 6 month duration, if you're done with the GCD program and if you want to go for elective 2, you can go for elective 2 as well, right? So you have that option. So you get to both the electives, plus whenever the optionals are conducted. For example, the data visualization with Tableau optional is being conducted from 1st of December. From that's what I know. So you get to sit in the optional classes as well, free of cost, because optionals, remember, are not a part of the course. You have to pay separately for these optionals and these electives. But once you register right now, along with the scholarship, this gets included, and this is, I think, totally worth it, because you get to choose all the electives. Now you don't have to make a choice between elective 1 or elective 2, machine learning advanced and TensorFlow deep learning and all the optionals. You get to choose all the electives and you get to choose all the optionals. You don't have to pay the full fee, and I hope that's a great news for those of you, as Karthik is also writing. That's great news. So the whole goal is to make it so student friendly that irrespective of the background that you are from, you should be able to you should be able to upskill in data science and machine learning without any hassles, without any interruptions. Yeah. All right. Let me just welcome a couple of people more. Welcome, Madhura. Madhura, can you quickly introduce yourself? That will be great. And the interesting thing is that we have